Hey BookTube, I know it's been a while. I kind of took 2023 a little hiatus from the BookTube community, but I'm thinking about getting back into it. So I figured what better way than to talk about my top 10 reads from 2023. Now, this is not going to be in any particular order because unlike other channels on BookTube, I read pretty eclectically. I read kind of whatever the heck I want. Sporadic, I should say. I read sporadically across all different genres. I'm not really one and done type of person. So you're going to have everything from, graphic novels to nonfiction to fantasy to science fiction, horror. You get the idea. So what better way than to just jump right in and not take 7 hours to talk about it. So we have also my forward main cameras are like shattered, so I can only take videos on selfie mode. So you know what I mean, just facing myself. I'm looking at my ugly mug right now, so these books are going to be backwards. I will get that remedied in the beginning of the year. Actually, January, the new Samsung comes out, so I'm gonna be getting that bad boy once T-Mobile texts me. So all right, so we got The Risen by Ron Rash. Now this is the first book I read by this author, and I was pleasantly surprised. I think I had heard about him from Well Read Beard. I ended up seeing this at my local library book sale, and I picked it up and I was pleasantly surprised. I see why people enjoy his fiction, because it is very poetic. It's actually really well written, and it really sucks you in because it's a lot of drama, a lot of familial drama. This one follows some brothers, and they had a little bit of summer fun, a little summer romance, one of them with a girl, and yeah, it's a little bit of a mystery, a little bit of a family, just Appalachian style drama. So The Risen by Ron Rash, a little different book this year. Okay, that's almost fallen down. Next we're gonna have This Is How You Lose a Time War. Now this was a super original sci-fi that I honestly have never read anything like it. It can be a little confusing and jarring at times. I found myself rereading chapters to understand kind of the narrative a little bit, but it alternates between two authors, if I'm not mistaken. So one author writes one perspective, which is red, and the other writes a style blue, and you get two different warring factions that takes place over time, and a romance builds. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. So it's a little bit of sci-fi romance, but done in a way that is super inviting, and overall just I love that book. Next we have Never Finished by David Goggins. Did not actually know he was from Buffalo, well, originally, and he hates it here because it was traumatic for him. But honestly, this really kicked me in the hindquarters early on in the year, and really pivoted my mindset to really focus on fitness. I might even look thinner than my last videos in like 2022, when I was really kicking it here on BookTube. And I'm thankful for my own mentality and staying hard, as he would say. Really it's fitness cannot be something you get motivated to do, or getting healthy is not something you can motivate yourself to do. It's more of a mindset shift. You have to do better for whatever reason that may be. If it's health, if it's mental health, like it was for me, I really struggled over the pandemic, and I really struggled with just general, dad depression, just being overwhelmed, and really being physically active and physically fit, and going to the gym regularly and taking care of myself really helped me a lot. So David Goggins, thank you for that. Next is The Burning Hollow. This is a dystopia, right? It's a post-apocalyptic, because the apocalypse is happening right then. So yeah, pretty awesome. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's like a men's adventure fiction. EMP happens, and and then we start to get invaded as a country, and you follow different characters. It's multi-character, and perspective, and you follow the main badass character as he's trying to navigate and just try to rebuild his life. He returns to his hometown, which is Burning Hollow, And yeah, it just starts to build a community in this dystopian world, and right up my alley. I love that shit. So if you haven't checked this out, if you like adventure, post-apocalyptic stories, please check this out. So next is Shadow of the Contender. This is in the Galactic Guardians series, if I'm not mistaken, by Jonathan Yanez. Love that author. Anything he puts out is fantastic. This was the next installment that I read this past year, or well, in 2023, and I just absolutely love the series. Please check out Galactic Guardians. I don't want to say much about this story, but basically it's just action-packed, awesome science fiction, kind of, again, along the lines of men's adventure style books where you got a main protagonist who's just badass and just likes to kick people in the ass, and yeah, just love that shit. So next one, now we're gonna get into a little bit of a extreme horror section of this, just how it wrote out, because I went through a little phase where that's all I read for like 3 months, and as I went down the Goodreads list, I was just kind of checking them in, you know. So we have What Good Girls Do by Jonathan Butcher. This is brutal. It's every bit of you know, the girl next door style book where it's just depraved. There's a lot of but it's also emotional. It's a gut punch, and it really keeps you on your toes. So check out What Good Girls Do by Jonathan Yanez. Next we have Playground by Aaron Beauregard. This is pretty controversial, and made its rounds on TikTok pretty good, so I had to naturally check it out for myself. And it's not, I mean, it's messed up, don't get me wrong. Don't read it if you can't handle it, but it's just so funny what people get stuck on. Like there's a certain scene that people were like, this is the worst and the author should be jailed and whatever, and I don't see it as much as like some of the other stuff Aaron's written, so it's just comical in that way. But Playground, it's like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and Saw had a love child and created this depraved, just messed up story. So Playground, Aaron Beauregard, it's the best I got. Next we have Saga. I read like 3 volumes in this. If you have not read this graphic novel and you are even new to graphic novels, please check this out. Awesome comics. I love it. It's like a loving little like romance, like Romeo and Juliet style thing, and you're just pulling for this cute little couple, and just you want just peace in the galaxy. You know what I'm saying? Saga, love it. I still need to finish it, so don't at me if it gets terrible after that. Next we have Boys Will Be Boys. This is by Rain Havoc, and yeah, this is brutal, and it's pretty cool because it's written it's female authors, so it's just different when you're reading extreme horror from a female perspective, because it really changes the way the characters act. And I think that that's important when you're reading that stuff, is to get different perspectives from different authors. And messed up, brutal. Please read her fiction. If you like extreme or splatterpunk horror fiction, please check out Rain Havoc. She is fantastic. Next, we're going to end on a happy note, and we read Open Season. And I can't remember the author's name for the life of me, because I read it like 4 or 5 months ago. Yeah, Open Season. Thriller about a game warden. I related so much to this main character. I absolutely loved it. And it was just like a badass kind of Jack Reacher style book. And I guess there's a TV show. So definitely check out. Oh, is it Open Season or Off Season? Open Season. Off Season's by I have that book as well. That's a horror book. But Open Season is awesome. Great thriller. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's 10 books, guys. So see, these videos don't have to last 3 hours. You guys can get it in 10. You know, whatever. I've been watching a lot of the fantasy channels, and I'm not hating. I'm just saying it doesn't have to be 30 minutes. I got stuff to do, you know what I mean? You just turn the speed up to like 1.25, and you just, for when you're watching them, a little trick, if you're just a watcher of BookTube, please feel free. Skip mine up a little bit quicker too, so you don't need to be watching me for that long. But this has been Working Man Reads. Don't work too hard, but make sure you're reading.